What we got?
All right, you got the wild card.
Looks like we got worst characters.
Worst characters.
Worst.
What is that?
This is a bit of a mind fuck.
Guys, get down in the comments below and let us know who the wild card is going to be. Come back next week, start seeing some of these first round matchups. Worst characters against other worst characters. Hey everybody, welcome to some exciting first round action of Worst Wars, which I believe is short for the worst character. Here we go.
You're weak, you stink. Let's face it, you're a douchebag.
All right, to my left, Casey. Casey, who you got? I believe it's Mr. Yunioshi from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
You would be so correct, Clint.
All right, good to know. And Mark, you, my friend, have Dr. Mann from Interstellar. As is always the custom, what you're gonna have is 2 minutes for opening arguments, then 1 minute each for rebuttals, and then we're gonna do some free-form talking after that. I fired the old coin, it's getting a little lippy, so got a new coin, and it's just an old-fashioned coin that flips. So Mark, you're going second.
Oh boy.
You ready? Casey, you got 2 minutes, starting right now, go.
For those of you who have seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, you already know who Mr. Yunioshi is, and you've probably already voted. You voted the right choice. Way to go. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the film, let me clue you in. Let's see, what do you know about this movie? It's a classic. It's one you should definitely see. It stars Audrey Hepburn, and she wears that really cool black dress. It's iconic, right? The long cigarette thing. Ooh, smoking hot. But what you may not know is that this classic film has a disgusting stain that just will not get scrubbed off. And that stain is named Mr. Yunioshi. Let me introduce you to Mr. Yunioshi here. As you can see, he's clearly a Japanese American. Oh, no, except he's played by Mickey Rooney, and it's incredibly offensive and stereotypical. You see, he got the big goggles here, and that just accentuates the eyelids, which were pulled back by tape, by the way. Oh, look at these giant teeth. Those aren't real. Looks like they were pulled from Hot Topic. When discussing ethnic stereotypes and Hollywood racism, Mr. Yunioshi always comes up. Why? Because there's no better example of a poorly crafted, outrageously executed character than him. Rooney runs around frantically as Miss Golightly's landlord. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I mispronounced that. It's Miss Go-Rightry. He calls her Miss Go-Rightry. Ouch. The fact is, not only is he stereotypical and offensive, but he has no effect on the film at all. You could take him out and the film would be pretty much the same thing. Now this is something that my opponent simply cannot say.
Mark, your turn. You got 2 minutes, starting right now, go.
So, I'm not going to try and claim that Mr. Yunioshi is not one of the worst things to ever hit celluloid. However, I want to just clarify a few things. It's Yunioshi, pronounced it a little wrong there, and he's not the landlord upstairs neighbor. So, Dr. Brand. Sorry. Dr. Mann.
Who's your character again?
Dr. Mann,
Oh, right, yeah.
the protege of Dr. Brand, Professor Brand, was supposed to be the best of us, quote, from the movie. However, he turned out to be by far the worst of us. He couldn't even handle his own mission. And he then went on within the story to almost destroy all of humanity. Okay, so that's just within the story. However, the movie up until that point had a firm antagonist. Space, the universe, nature. To shoehorn this character, Dr. Mann, into the story that already had set up a new plot point of no plan B, or plan B was the only plan, is just offensive to the entire audience. You introduce a character that, one, if he's in that position, he should be psychologically sound. He's doing this mission that, basically the entirety of humanity is at stake. He also was Dr. Brand's protege, so he knew there was no plan A. He disregarded that anyway. He had a complete mental collapse the moment he started the mission. This doesn't make any sense within a movie that is based on science. And it ended up being a 45-minute chunk of time within this movie that ruins the movie.
The movie was ruined. by 45 measly minutes.
That is insane.
Casey, your rebuttal will last 1 minute starting right now. Go.
Now, yeah, he's kind of a bastard, right? And I understand why you might hate him. But the thing is, you're supposed to hate him. He kind of represents the selfishness and the fear that we all feel. I mean, haven't you ever been really gung-ho about doing something, and then once you start doing it, you kind of lose your nerve?
No.
That is amazing. No human would really understand that, but people can understand that coming from Mann. He is very human, and yes, of course he is kind of shoehorned in, and he's tonally confusing. You know, before it was all about space and exploration and love, and all of a sudden it comes in this little fist fight. But the thing is, he raises stakes. He makes the film a little more gripping. And at least he does you the favor of blowing himself up, and then you can get back to the nuanced sci-fi that you so badly wanted to see.
I have here the sides for Mr. Yunioshi. Okay, we're going to take a look at this right here. All right, and here's the sides for Dr. Mann. Notice a little page difference there. We're talking about the point in which we get to here. There is 2 new plot points. The stakes are raised. They're almost out of fuel. They can only go to one more planet. And there's no plan A. They only have a plan B. The stakes were raised. This is 45 minutes they could have used to further explain to a new audience, a fresh audience that isn't necessarily familiar with this, that timey-wimey things are confusing.
Timey-wimey things like your minute is up.
Well, first of all, yeah, there are fewer pages over there, but I think that's only because R's are smaller than L's.
Factually inaccurate. I see what you were going there.
Yeah,
I'll allow it.
Oh, good.
But it's incorrect.
Okay.
Sorry, not my place. Continue.
You sure I should go first? Because,
All right, I'll go.
yeah, please.
So, yeah.
All you had was the argument. Okay.
And as you said,
so much time crafting.
okay, but also as you said before, you can take Mr. Yunioshi out, and it's basically the same thing. But here's something that I find fascinating. When you actually read his role here, the only indication that he is, in fact, of Japanese descent is his name. All right. Now, every time there's an L, he calls her Go Lightly.
Go rightly.
No, it's Go Lightly in here.
He says go rightly. Dude, the director told Mickey Rooney,
Yeah.
I want you to play this big and outrageous. You're the comedy relief, boy.
But it wasn't until that point that this character became bad. I'm not arguing that he's not a bad character, but everything up until that point,
Right.
he was a good character.
Well, if
He's a
this was
good
novella
foil.
wars, then I think you would have a point. But this is movie wars. We're talking about the guy on the screen who's just a stereotypical
So my point
asshole.
is, in here, he's bad.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good character in here.
Right.
In here, a well-portrayed character is bad. It's a bad waste of script. Look how many pages are wasted to this. Like, you could have spent this much time making the audience understand what the hell the ending was.
At worst, Dr. Mann is going to fade into obscurity. But Mr. Yunioshi is going to be at the center of the conversation of Hollywood racism until our entire planet goes desolate and dry and we just leave it. Look, the point is, Mr. Yunioshi is an awful caricature. He looks like he's been pulled out of some sort of World War II propaganda film. He's so bad that even Paramount has been trying to bury this guy for so long. They had to put a featurette into their Blu-ray copy of Breakfast at Tiffany's to explain this character and be like, oh, it's a different time, and ooh, I know, really sorry about that. It's been referenced in a bunch of other movies, like Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, in which Bruce Lee is sitting in the movie theater going, this is horrible, I'm incredibly offended, I'm gonna fight this crap in Hollywood, and then leaves. Do you think any film in the future is gonna reference Interstellar? Like, oh, that Dr. Mann, he was a right idiot.
I'm not going to argue how offensive Mr. Yunioshi is, because obviously it just is. But what I want to argue is in 2013-14, this continues. The only purpose he exerts on the film is killing the one black guy. That is a problem that actually exists today, is that any minority role gets diminished to just raising the stakes. And without this character, the character that was played by the one minority could have served a greater purpose in a movie that's supposed to be about science. It's not supposed to be about one guy suddenly becoming a psychopath after decades of not being a psychopath. It doesn't make any sense. This character doesn't make any sense. Let's take back to your example. They had to put a Blu-ray extended feature excusing this, whereas they had to put a Blu-ray extended feature in Interstellar making up for the fact that he wasted so much time in the movie. We have no idea why that ended that way.
Turned into a battle of Blu-ray features there for a second, but I think we found our way to a good spot to end this. So guys, down in the comments below, there's a comment down there that says, like this comment if Mr. Yunioshi wins. There's another comment that says, like this comment if Dr. Mann wins or loses, depending on how you want to look at this.
It's the worst.
Point is, you're voting for the worst character. Which character is actually worse, Mr. Yunioshi or Dr. Mann? So get down there, vote them up, let us know who's moving on to the next round, and also be sure to check out our other opening round matchup. It is Jar Jar Binks versus Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element. So get over there, check that one out, vote that one up as well, and come back next week, find out who wins, find out who's in the semifinals of Worst Wars, not Sausage Man.